Okay, welcome on a different day in Wiltshire.
Thank you.
Now, yesterday after we closed, you were referring to some important sort of alien abduction stuff.
Yes.
Could you talk about that, please?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about, one person I'm seeing right now, and about her experience, because I know she's fine with it. And so she came to me, like, I would say 2 months ago, because she knew there were, let's say, unusual experiences she had. And she's from Hungary. And she asked me if I could give regression to her, and I said, yes, we can do this. And in her, from her view, actually, it was kind of like, so to speak, positive experience. I'm a contactee. And then I told her it might be that something else comes out in regression. Maybe things you even don't remember, and if you experience this, if you see this, it might be not so pleasant. So, but she agrees that it's fine. I want to know what happened to me, because I can only recall certain things, but I don't have the full picture. And we started with the regression, and the first regression, when she went in trance, she could remember very easily, was she was taken as a child. She was very, very little. She was a baby, so I think a few months old, and she described it, it's not like she was just elevated, up. It's like, so she cannot describe what it is, because she said you cannot see it, but it's kind of like, it's like a tube. She describes this as a tube, but it's not like an elevator. Okay.
So what about this tube?
Okay, the tube. It's she describes it like an energy, but it's like almost like a jail, and it's where she gets uplifted. And so she went into a room, but she cannot describe exactly. She felt it was on the ship, but she couldn't see much. And I think there were 4 what we call the grey ones there. And they did like an operation on her spine. They opened the spine and they opened the stomach. And she couldn't describe what they did, but there was like an operation. And then at the end, it was kind of closed. And she said, there are no scars, nothing. No one would see it. They can do it in a way that there's simply nothing there, but she knew it happened. And she said also something was in the spine, also left within the spine, but she don't know for what. And and then she was brought back. And the way, what comes in my mind right now, the way they kind of get in contact with her was they gave her an image from a dog. It was a German Shepherd, because she felt very comfortable with the dog. But from her point of view, it was just like a holographic picture that she's not afraid. And in another session, she had an experience. She was kind of taken out of the body, because...
Before we go to that,
yeah.
Can we get any more details about what the greys were like, and what the details of where she was?
Yeah. So she cannot describe exactly where it was. She just knows.
Anything at all?
Yes, anything what she said, it's kind of, she was uplifted, and she felt she was in the room, and the light, it's different to the light what we have here. It's not like this really bright light. So it was like a soft light, but she could not see too much. There were certain. She was lying like on a table, similar like this. And there were, when I recall it correctly, there have been 4 beings, and she was sending me a picture later, and they had like this black eyes,
Were they round eyes? Any shapes?
They
any
were
details
like
at all?
almond eyes, and she said, the head's like more bigger here, and she said the jaw goes like this, it's like goes into a more, like goes down here. That's the way she describes it. And what she said as well is like the communication is telepathic. It's not like voice to voice. It's telepathic communication. But during the whole process, she's always in a very, very strong stress, and there's fear around, because she doesn't know what happened. So if I do the regression, her whole body is vibrating. Really, she's like this in a regression, so then it's not so easy to get her calm. Then she can recall what she saw. And these 4 people, and she always said they just do what they have to do. It's kind of like, it's like a routine. And she also recalled then later that she has had several like experiences where she's taken and they just check how the body is in the way, if she's healthy or what is going on with the body. So, but she said it's always like a routine. They do like a routine. And in one of the sessions, so we did several sessions, I just need to see that I can recall it in the right order. There was also, so she describes it like the one, they are smaller. That was in the last session, and she said they were about 1 meter on height, and they just like they smiled, but she said it was strange because it was like a smiling, but not like with a strong emotion behind there. And in this session, now I know I'm jumping a little bit there. There was the last one because it's the most fresh in my memory, and there were also 4 people. Or 4 from these races, and what they did there also, it's kind of like they put an energy in her body, and she didn't want it to happen. It just happened, but nothing what she could do. She was just like paralyzed. She can't move. In this memory, she said I was just like floating. Something was holding me like an energy, but she couldn't recall lying on a physical table. So, but she was on something, and she was horizontal. And she said they were kind of there was an energy coming within her physical, within her body, but it wasn't her physical body, because she said in this kind of like memory, it was that she was taken out of the body and she was with her non-physical body there, and they were putting in energy, but she felt even so it was like coming inside her. And I found it interesting because she said it is like love. It's like it's a frequency of love, but she said it's not like love we experience. It's for them, it's like a tool. You can generate the frequency, and she said it was really weird for her, because she felt she could recognize it as love. It should be love, but it wasn't love, in a way. And she said it's totally different how they experience this than a human being would experience love. So I found this quite interesting. So the energy.
So they were smiling.
They were smiling, yeah, but it was like always the same expression.
Yeah.
It was not much like, and she said it was also like a routine. They just did the things like a little bit robotic, like they just did it, without emotions. It's kind of like a standard procedure. And it was like, she cannot say how long it was lasting. It was she said maybe 30 minutes. And then, until everything is ready, okay, this job is done, then she was placed back. And she found herself back in her sleeping room. And she saw her body, when she came back, she saw her body lying in the bed. And she found it also, she said, whoa, it's strange,
So this was all out of body?
This was out of body, yeah.
So they were doing an operation on her astral body?
Yes, and she said she has it with the body. She has like memories where she is taken with the complete body. And this was a memory when she was taken out of the body, and she felt very uncomfortable, and she was very afraid, because she felt, before she lost the ability to remember, she felt she was in her room. She said it was early 20s, 23, 24, and she felt that someone was pushing her, getting out of the body, and she was getting very, very afraid because she didn't want to get out. And then she said, from this point I couldn't remember anything. That's why she came for the session. It was the last session I had. So she was completely taken out of the body, and they did it on the astral body, and then taken back, and she could see her body still sleeping on the bed, and she found it's very, very strange, because the body is there, but I'm here, and she merged back with the body, and then she just remembered that she was falling asleep as well. So this was the last.
And how long has this been going on?
Since birth. And I think her mom is affected as well, because her dad worked in the military in Hungary. So
what about her parents? What did she work with?
Her dad was in the military, but
right.
I cannot see.
What type of military?
I cannot tell you exactly, because you see.
Air Force, Navy, army?
I don't. I think I cannot really do. I don't know what kind of military, So, and because if I do the session, my whole. I know the content is interesting, but I'm looking to help the person to get out of the trauma, and that my whole. So, and I record the session, so I don't have all the memories in my head, so to say.
So this is very important, just to repeat from your first part, that this isn't, you're not in the business of getting...
No, that's why it's a bit difficult for me to tell you this.
Which is quite different to the other researchers,
yes.
Which is very important, but your business is to heal.
Yes, this is my focus. I now have the content, and I know it sounds a bit strange, but it was always like this for me. Even I hear these stories, it's kind of like it doesn't shock me. I don't know why it's like this. I hear it like, yes, that's, if I would know it.
So how did you heal that person's trauma? What was involved?
What we did after. So what we do in the first step is kind of like, because it's a lot of anxiety with this person, it's an anxiety to get the memory, because you don't know what you will experience. She doesn't know. You just know something happened to me, and then there's fear. God, what did happen to me? What did I do? And then after she recalls, what the whole scenario, then I go more in detail. So to get more information about how they look like. It's all on my tapes. That's why I don't have it so much in my memory right now.
It's important about the detail of the greys, because one of the things about the military abduction ones is they use fake greys or man-made greys.
Yes.
They've got different features. Is there any indication of any other type of being that she was experienced?
She experienced in another session, and she said it was like a taller, what we call the grey, but it's not a grey skin. She doesn't describe it as a grey skin. It's like more brownish, like she said it's like mud, like
wood. Wood. As in from a tree.
No, from the earth. If you put water in there.
Okay. Mud. Okay.
Yes. Mud. So it's not really like grey, what we would describe as a grey color. And she said these beings are taller, and it seems like they have they have more sayings about the smaller ones they operate, and they have emotions, and they even can, there are much more emotions there. Yeah, and the smaller ones. She said,
apart from the height, are there any other details?
Yes, comes to my mind the smaller ones. They had they were wearing something on her body, but it was like really, really tight, not like clothes we have, but it was like a protection, or the way she described it, and it was the same color they are from the skin, and it was difficult to see for her because there was light there. And she said it might be that she saw the color differently because of the illumination in the room. Yeah, so she said, it might be not exactly.
Was that sort of a bit like the sort of lights we have now, like LED light? It's sort of like it's not a radiant light. It's sort of more like an incandescent light.
Yes, that's the way she described it. Yeah, so a little bit like this, and that's why she said it's hard, to really say this color. It's exactly the way it looks like, because it might be manipulated from the light. These are the types of beings she's in contact with. So, and
was there a sort of a rich sort of green color anywhere?
No, she didn't mention this one.
On the walls, or?
No, she said there were like equipments there in the room. So this is like in the first part, she just gets the memory. She just helps the person to get the memory, and then once they know what happened, they relax. They say, okay, this is what happened. Now I know. And then in the second part, we go again into the memory, and then I ask if they can zoom in. They can take memories and get memories and get more and pay you attention, and then you will get more information if they want to. So they can zoom in, because it's not anxiety there anymore so strong. And as far as I remember, I know there were some things in the room, but I can unfortunately not tell you. I know it's all my tapes, but
So what other, and anything else?
Anything else?
You mentioned the other assistants.
Anything else? No, it always seems like it's a routine what they do. It's always like a routine. It's like, we do this, it's very straightforward, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. But once it's finished, she gets back. And she doesn't know why it is like this.
How often has this been happening?
I think all her life. I think she's taken on a regular basis.
I think you said yesterday about something about when the baby is actually growing in the womb.
Yes.
They already have implants.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Could you go into that a bit more?
This is based also not only on people with the implants. They are not only people. They have been contacted or abducted. I think this is also like people, they don't have contacts to extraterrestrial ETs. And what I see in the session, because I do regressions also, people come where I do regress them into the womb of the mother, because they have a feeling, mostly people that did a lot of therapies already on healing work, they said there's something there, something is there. And in my observation, first of all, in the womb of the mom, our brain is already so far developed that it can record everything. It's like a hard drive, and we feel the emotions of the mother. So we can even, I have people, they can recall conversations. So everything what the mother went through, the child, in the womb goes through as well. And this is my personal observation. It's kind of within the womb, they already get some, I call it imprints like patterns. And this is something what I know, and I cannot tell you why I know it. I just know that you already get imprints when you are in the womb. You get already, it's like a programming, you get certain programs, and this later will influence your emotional behavior.
How is that programming entered? I mean, where do you get it from?
I think it's on a non-physical, on an etheric level. You can just put it in. I can also not tell you, but I know it's actually quite easy to implement this. It's not complicated to do things like this.
Is that the conditions a mother's working in, or?
Yes, you can use it. You can use this as well. So what you do, if I would be someone who would do it, then you look at the trauma, and on the line you have to look on the family line. There's a history. And if the mom has already traumatized and their mom, it's very easy to imprint the child, because it's already connected with this line of memories, because it comes into the system. And then it depends in which way you want the person to go, or to react. You implement certain programs, and they will most likely, at least at the beginning, until the point they might, let's call what we call wake up, because then it will change. But if they're still in deep sleep, they will just follow certain programs, and it has to do with their reactive pattern, and has to do if they feel worthy, if they feel like a failure, all these things. You can manipulate it with this quite easy. So,
I mean, how do you know that? How does that work out? How do you get that information?
I don't know. It's like I have it inside me. It's the same when I see implants, and the moment I see implants, I know if it can be removed or it's not possible to remove. You see, I had another, I can speak about this case. There's another lady, she doesn't have an ET experience, but I think you would call it she's target by, I don't know who it is, if it's military involved, I do not know. But she came to sessions to me because she lived in a certain place in Dublin, and many people told her, don't move there, because there's a lot of stuff, and it's a very rough area. You shouldn't move there.
What do you mean by a lot of stuff?
It's kind of like where things happened in Dublin.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes they shoot people, and this happens in Dublin, right? And there are drugs involved. So we have these things in Dublin. Yeah. And so this is a place. So where they didn't recommend her to move there, but she moved there anyway. And since she moved there, she had voices in her head, and they told you, so she never wanted to have children, and they told you have to have children, and things where she would just freak out about. And then she came to a session to me, and to ask her to help her. And she went to other healers as well, and they found out she had many implants, and they removed also some of the implants. But she didn't come to the session because of the implants. What we did work on was to strengthen her trust and, that she believes in herself. Because I think what I said yesterday, one thing are the implants, and we can feel like a victim and say, okay, I cannot do anything because I have implants, and I'm controlled, and I'm the victim. I don't think so. I think the implants, they just take what's already there. There is already something in the person, and I think as a young woman, she had a very difficult childhood. Yeah, so there's already trauma in the childhood, and then it's much easier to manipulate you. It's very easy. You just take this and you get triggered, and you put a little bit more in there. Very easy to manipulate you then. So
that's part of the social programming.
Yes.
In the first place.
And when she came, she came to a few sessions. We didn't work on the implants, but in one session she asked me, could you look into this? And then I said, yeah, I could do. And this is what I told you yesterday. What I saw, was kind of like there were implants in her teeth, in the teeth in there. They went up into the eye, went back in here, into the spine, up into the brain. There were implants quite strong into the solar plexus, up over the heart chakra, goes also into the spine, back into the head. And what she has as well was like holographic images. It's like a holographic image within her energy field. So, and they can. It's like playing a movie and gives you some imprints as well. So, and
what do these images show? These holographic images?
I think you can maybe if someone, it's like. Maybe it's a good example. If someone is sending you thoughts, you can do this. Like remote viewing, and to try to influence a person. You can do it in a very helpful, healing way. Giving you. So maybe you're sick, and I'm giving a thought, thinking at you. I think you can heal yourself. Very encouraging. Yeah. But you can do it in the opposite way. And this is like it operates. It operates in the same way. That it's just like a holographic image with a certain information, and it just vibrates the energy into your system. So this is the best, and this is also what she's very sensitive. It's the way also she described it to me. So, and when I told, that's what I see, she said, yes, this is also the way I experience this myself. And for example, in this case, it was not easily to remove. I wouldn't say I'm specialized in removing implants. So. Well,
I mean, knowing that you can and knowing that you can't. That's huge.
I wouldn't say you can't, but in this moment it wasn't possible. It was not even, it was not even possible to enter this from the outside. It was so strong implemented in her body. It wasn't only in the
You're talking an energetic implant.
Yes. Yeah. It was also within your body, and she spoke also there like an entity within the body, So, but she's so aware that she can differentiate that what's me and what's not me. Some people, they can't, and they would think it's me, and this entity could just act and they think it's me, but she knew it's not her. And in this moment, the only way it would work was has to come from the inside out, not from outside in. But I would say.
In what way do you mean by that?
From the energy, it was such a strong. She had also from the energy, it was like a belt around her energetically, like it's a form of implant. So, and this belt, I couldn't go through it. It was not possible. It was so strong. So there was I know it sounds a bit technical, but it's like you find a big spot there, and then you can enter this and go into the technology from the inside. But my knowledge was not enough to deal with this type of energy. That's all what I can say. I just knew, okay, I cannot do it in this case.
Were you able to give her any help in terms of her well-being?
Yes, what we do work on, so to speak, to help her to not feel like a victim, to not feel, someone's just taking her over. We help her to step into her own power, into her own strengths. also helping her that she knows that she can deal with these things. That's what we are doing.
This is crucial, so you get the patient to heal themselves.
Yes, helping them to feel, you know what, even it might take a while, but I'm not powerless, you know, and I can deal with these things. You know, this is what I do. This is my main focus. You know, so.
Do they have to do anything specific to sort of deal with these things? What do they do?
It's not easy. It's really not easy because she has it every moment. She's aware of it, you know, and she's studying, and she says it's distracting her from studying, so it's very, very difficult because she hears the voices all the time. And
that's voice-to-skull technology. What kind of voices does she hear?
It's in her head. She describes it's in her head, and it's telling her.
Humans or what?
It's like a human voice. But I cannot tell you where it comes from. I do not know.
Does it sound like as if there's a man talking in the microphone?
Yes, it's kind of like, yeah, she hears the voice, and someone is really, like we speak now, that's what she hears, you know, someone's just constantly talking to you. You know, do this one, you will do this one, and everything that she doesn't want to do, you know, so, and that's why.
Well, we give that a little bit of a pause.
Mm.
Okay, this very important. You're introducing what is going to be the next part of this Basis 45.
Yeah.
Now, who is this guy? Tell us all about him.
Okay, his name is Jerry, and I did get in contact with him because I did some research on the internet after having some sessions with people who have been abducted, and I wanted to see if is there anyone else in Ireland, you know, because the idea behind is maybe to put the people together so they can exchange and they don't feel isolated and alone. And then I saw from the Irish magazine there was an interview with Jerry, and
which magazine was that?
It's the Irish Mirror, I think.
The Irish Mirror?
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that something that people could look up and have?
Yes, they can, you know.
Yeah.
But so his name is Jerry Battles.
When was that? Is it?
The interview was like in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a few years back. And so what happened to him was in 2001. It was like shortly in December. I think it was around Christmas time. And at this time he had an experience being on the ship. He was taken on the ship, and he described it to me, so I met him. He lives near Limerick, and what he told me was there were many people in the ship lined up. He was one of many, all humans, and they were kind of in a state of trance, so they were not really awake. They were kind of like just standing there. And he said when it was my turn, and what he meant is kind of was his turn that they did work with him, it's kind of, he kind of woke up from this trance state.
Yeah.
And he said I couldn't move, you know, I could just like move my eyes, and he could see where he was. And what made it different and why the whole thing came into kind of place the way it went was he wasn't afraid, and E.T. felt it, or he saw that he's not afraid, and started to talk to him. Why does it come that you're not afraid? Everyone else is afraid. Yeah, but he wasn't. And there was a whole communication, you know, starting between the E.T. and him, and this is kind of what he wants to get out into the public, what he told him. He speaks about one being, and so I don't go into much detail there because he can just tell you everything quite in detail. Yeah, and so there was this conversation, and then he was brought back. And when he was brought back, he couldn't remember a thing till he wiped out his memory. But what happened, strangely enough, that his jacket was found in a local hospital. Yeah, so on the roof, and someone said, you know, your jacket is there. And the jacket was a trigger for him. So like maybe it was 2 weeks later, the jacket was found in the hospital, and someone brought it to him, you know, because he knew the person who found the jacket in the hospital. Really strange things. So he got the jacket back, and the moment he saw the jacket, because this was the jacket he had on at the night, on the day where it happened, he could remember everything. And so I saw the interview in the internet, and I just had a feeling, you know what, I just get in contact with him. But there was no phone number, nothing. So I just went with a very good friend. She told me, I'm going to come with you. Let's see if we can find him. Because he lived, there was like the name of the village near Limerick. So we went there. Couldn't find him there. But we went to the post office and they knew he moved to another village. And then we went there and he was really at home. And then we said, we just wanted to listen to your story. And he was so touched because no one believed him. And he said it was so difficult after, and because they all said he was just getting mad. And he said, I know I'm not mad, I know what I experienced. And he even tried to get regression hypnotherapy done, but also they refused to work with him because also they didn't believe him either. Yeah, so he was for all the years pretty much on his own, and needed to deal on his own with all these things. And he said also his family, he said, I don't want to know so much about it, so he doesn't speak about it. And then he was so happy to meet us, and he told us the whole story. It was very emotional. And what we said, he said, what, Jerry, I know someone and I will just get in contact with this man. And I thought, on you, Miles.
Yeah.
And I said, I just will try, let's see, maybe, I know I have a big audience and maybe we can just get your story out there so people know about it.
Well, that sounds like a damn good idea.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm so, delighted that you really, got back to,
well, that's really good.
Us.
That's fantastic.
You can be here. Thank you so much.
And hopefully the next part will be in Ireland, Limerick, with this contactee.
Lovely. This will be great.
But in the meantime, it's a sunny day. It's Wiltshire. And we're going to go hunting for crop circles.
We go to the crop circles. So it's going to be exciting.
You can't come this far and not go and see a crop circle.
Yes, we're going to do this now.
Well, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate
you,
this, and let's move on with this in a positive and a really wonderful way.
Yes, me too.
Because
thank
I know
so
your contactee has got a very important message.
Yes.
And we've got to get that message out.
Yes.
Okay, that's the end of the serious bit. Let's go and have some fun.
Yes, thank you. Thanks.
Goodbye.